Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Friday, March the 20th. I'm Andrew Gagan. The local market is set to turn positive this morning with ASX futures up more than 0.25%. Global equity markets slumped further overnight as attacks on energy infrastructure in the Middle East war caused oil and gas prices to surge again. Wall Street's major indices ended lower as the prospect of accelerating inflation stemming from soaring energy prices left investors pessimistic about the potential for future interest rate cuts. Rate futures suggest traders see little chance of interest rate cuts before the middle of next year. Micron Technology fell after the memory chip maker's quarterly forecast failed to impress investors, who have sent its shares soaring more than 50% this year on strong AI demand, while Nvidia also ended lower. Tesla shares reversed as an investigation gathers pace into 3.2 million Tesla vehicles with full self-driving assistance on concerns the system may have inbuilt failures. Whereas shares of fellow EV maker Rivian advanced on news Uber will invest $1.25 billion in the company to deploy fully autonomous SUVs as robo-taxis from 2028. US listed shares of Alibaba fell as quarterly revenue missed estimates. Metal prices fell heavily as markets price in lower economic growth. The gold miners track gold prices lower, with the silver miners also falling on expectations of tighter policy from central banks. Similarly, the copper miners tracked the price of the red metal lower, with US listed shares of BHP and Rio down sharply. And US listed shares of family tracking app Life360 fell on a broker downgrade after citing elevated execution risk and stalling international monthly active user growth. Well, a raft of central banks made policy decisions in the past 24 hours, all committed to tackling any surge in inflation with tighter policy. The Bank of England, European Central Bank, and central banks of Switzerland and Sweden left rates on hold, but made out that rising energy prices could spark a wave of inflation, wary that it could prompt higher wage demands by households fearful of losing purchasing power. ECB President Christine Lagarde said the Eurozone was resilient and that low inflation meant it was well positioned to deal with what she called a major shock that is unfolding. The central bank raised its forecast for inflation this year to 2.6%, above its 2% target. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister has said his country would not target any more Iranian energy assets as strikes on energy plants and subsequent retaliatory attacks sent energy prices spiralling. And the Trump administration has indicated that it's considering sending thousands more US troops to the Middle East, but the president said he had no plans to deploy ground forces. Well, US two-year Treasury yields have touched a 7-month high as markets digest cautious rate decisions from key central banks. The two-year was at 3.84%, the 10-year yield at 4.28%. Australian 3-year government bond yields rose to 4.75%. The 10-year was up to 5.06%. US dollar index is down more than 0.5% on the day. The Aussie trading at 70.9 US cents. Well, Brent crude surged to $119 a barrel overnight before retreating. We're trading volatile as Iran attacked more energy targets, prompting the US government to expand supply. And Iranian attacks are estimated to have taken out around 17% of Qatar's liquefied natural gas export capacity. Brent futures have settled at around $108 a barrel. Gold prices dropped more than 4% on inflation concerns and expectations that central banks will keep borrowing costs elevated. Spot gold falling to around $4,650 an ounce, while silver slipped more than 5% to $71 an ounce. And copper fell more than 2.5%. Iron ore currently trading at around $110 a ton. And Bitcoin is trading just above $70,000 US. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again on Monday.